they're just such a pleasure to watch, not only from an in-game perspective, but also just looking at the players, how positive they are.
Yes, they are. So we are going to see as our map Sky Temple. We did see a little bit of focus on globals last game from Hotslady. Didn't work out in their favor. This match should potentially work a little bit better.
Yep, there we go. So Sky Temple, that is a map where you can snowball really, really hard, and you can lose a lot if you don't maintain your lead. If you just, you know, get baited into team fighting unnecessarily, if you are not patient enough to wait for the next temples to arrive, because this is one of the few battlegrounds where you can single-handedly win a map just by playing the objective. On other maps, it's not always that easy, but here, all you need to do if you have a nice lead is just, you know, keep it calm, wait for the temples, zone your enemies out, maintain control over the lanes, and you're going to be just fine.
We will see which team is able to do so as we head into the draft for our game number 2 of our second series of the day. Minder, we still have 2 more series after this, including one I am looking very much forward to, CE versus RPG.
Yes, that is going to be our big highlight of the day for sure, because RPG, as you said, they looked very good against SOA, who, as we just witnessed, is not a team to be sneezed at, and they're playing against the big dog, against the former champion CE, the current champion, I should say, that are seeking to defending their title.
So far, the draft is identical. So far, the draft continues to be identical. Like, this is exactly the same as last game, from start up to now.
Can't really blame SOA, though. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know?
Yeah. What did they pick? It was Li Ming and something else, or was Li Ming later?
I think Li Ming came in relatively early. I think it was the 3rd pick, to be honest. I don't remember exactly, but I think it came in early.
Who was there over tank? It was Arthas.
It was Arthas.
Right?
It was picked second. It was picked secondly, yep.
Yes, Arthas Li Ming.
Exactly.
If Hotslady are going to continue to mirror what they did last time, it would be that.
To be honest, after a game like the first one, I don't want to see Meng on the Li Ming again. I want him to try something else, find his comfort zone, and that's a little bit more reliable and not as risky, I would say. Li Ming, you know, if you take a wrong risk, if you misjudge the gamble, you're gonna die just like Meng did. The Vala, however, you can just assess your risk a little bit more carefully.
Tasta banned out, removing in those secondary healers to go in with this. Zarya removed from SOA by Hotslady. They're trying to also stunt this comp that SOA ran last game.
And this is just a big win for SOA. If you force out a ban against a hero that is not necessarily ban-worthy in general, then you can already pick something else in return. So you can pick something like, let's say, a false stand now, because the enemy team didn't really pay attention to it. You can counter the global of Tahaka with it, which might not have been possible normally. And especially Uncle G must feel good about it, because his Zarya was single-handedly denying so many kills from the enemy team. His shields were on point, the expulsions were good, broke the formation of Hotslady. What are they going to come up with now? Stitches and mouth. Okie dokie, I like it.
So there is an old-fashioned combo that we still see every now and again, which is the hook into the Malfurion roots. Now, a big counter to that was if you could maybe counter an Ancestral, usually on top of that, or just counter a good old heal or a shield to get someone out of there. That's not as effective anymore, thanks to the healing reduction talent that Malfurion can take at level 7. This makes this combo, that is a very old combo at this point, even more effective than it used to be. Once again, you miss out on cleanse for it, but it's pretty good.
Now, this is the first time we see the Malfurion patch live in action. China, in that regard, is, you know, a little bit ahead on the other regions. Now, do you think, from all what we've seen so far, Tetra, that the new Malfurion is worth to be picked this early? Or do you think that he should not be prioritized as much as some of the Chinese teams do? Your personal take on it.
My personal take is it very much depends on the comp. In a comp like this, I really like it. Other than that, I would personally prefer Karazim in a lot of situations. If you need a ranged healer, I think it's still fine though. Here is the Karazim going with the double support once again on the side of Hotslady, and a Tyrael as their second tank. So a lot of protection for Valor. Add some global into that, you are fine and dandy. So they need another support, another assassin. They could pick Falstad here and also get their own global potential.
True, I wouldn't hate the false set. In fact, I would like it. As you said, you can counter the false, the hacker with it in terms of global speed and mobility. It would also add a lot of combo potential. Like, we have seen it. You know, you hook someone, you gust everyone else away while he's standing in the roots and waits to be killed. It requires perfect timing, though. So it's not the easiest combination to execute. But you said that Malfurion excels in a combo like that, and I agree. There's so much follow-up potential for his roots. You can land it right into hook. You can even drop it underneath a target that exits the cocoon. So I think in this comp, he can just thrive a lot more than he could in the last one.
Oh, there he is. Nice. Falset. Rejoining the comp. Now, this does open to two of the oldest combos we have in the game in the form of the Gorge Mighty Gust and the Cocoon Mighty Gust. We will have to see if we experience either of those. There is a Sanctification and an Aegis. Those are the two counters to this. We'll see if either of them come into effect. I think it's unlikely we'll see at least the Gorge Gust because no one runs Gorge. Despite the fact, I think it would be really good here, isolating one of those supports from the rest of the team while you focus down Karazim before he can go for the before he can get Aegis, for example, or just cocooning the Tyrael and getting rid of everyone else.
Exactly. The combo potential for SOA is almost unlimited. It all comes down to timing. It all comes down to execution. But if they manage to do it, they can take down Hotslady in a 2-0 potentially, which would be, to this day, I think, the biggest upset in Phase 2. It's just so cool to see a team that nobody had on the radar, like SOA, is coming out swinging, not really getting affected by nervousness or fear, anything else they could feel when playing a team like Hotslady, who looked so good against SPT yesterday.
Indeed, showed that their new roster is worthy of being higher up in the table than it made it to last time. We will have to see if SOA can pull a Raven, because Raven is starting to redeem themselves a little bit in HGC career as well.
Yeah, that's a very good thing you mentioned there. Raven actually impressed me quite a bit compared to Phase 1 in Korea. I think we see a lot of teams sort of coming out of the shadows. In NA, we have No Tomorrow, not really a team that anyone thought of when it came to playing an important role, but they're looking pretty good in the early phase here of NA HGC as well. In Europe, we have Zealots looking very strong, actually, as a new coming team. And China, could this be the time for SOA to shine? It's just so cool to see the constant movement in the HGC all across the globe. Yeah. The league system so far, I just wouldn't want to live without it anymore.
Greedy, especially with the open division as well, adding even more excitement to that. We had the first day of the first NA open division happening yesterday. I am already very interested to keep following Hold It Down. They look pretty decent. Of course, they have Crowan playing for them, so I'm looking forward to see how well they do in the future. And in Europe, we have Bushido Esports, because of course the Durham brothers.
Alright, as Tetra said, there's a lot of teams currently making a name for themselves, and one of them is SOA. We see them on the left-hand side in the blues. Can they repeat this success from game number 1? Fei on the Malfurion. We have Uncle G on his Anubarak, Tank OVO on Greymane, Spark BZ on the Stitches, and last but not least, Shy is rocking his ball stand.
Whereas on the right-hand side, in the red trunks, it is going to be Hotslady with Y on Valor, Pomi on Ariel, Lias on Karazim, Meng on the Dahaka, and Carlo on Tyrael.
Alright, Tetra, I think Hotsladies, they certainly gained a lot of respect now from the newly awakened SOA, a team that looks so much different than in Phase 1. Can they stabilize now? I would hope so, because me personally, I really want Hotslady to succeed as well. I think both of those teams deserve to win. Both of those teams deserve to perform well, because we could all need a couple of new challenges for the likes of CE, SPT, and E-Star.
So right now, no one in bot lane. Falset actually came to mid lane to see if he could soak a couple of shots for his season marksman. Oh, that is super first blood. Down goes Karazim.
That is oftentimes the risk of rotating while being, you know, spotted by the vision tower. I think that's what happened there. Karazim wanted to rotate, maybe even grab the vision tower for his team, but he got caught in the process. His ally Meng was not there in time to give him a target to dash to, and And, you know, as such, a nice early first blood for SOA.
Nicely done indeed by SOA, as they also continue to rotate around the map a bit. They may be looking for a Dahaka. They're going to find oh no, deja vu! There's the root, and he's focused down, gets a dash, this time the double dash. And he's able to stay alive. Why? Moving in, looking to try and get a counter kill. Lias barely surviving all this damage.
Stitch is the gatekeeper.
As well, trying to escape. A cocktail could get the kill. Not going to happen though. You see Dahaka coming in as well to try and help out, and they all escape barely.
That was so unfortunate for SOA, but also well played by Hotslady. Auriel here really keeping her Vala alive, her princess that she definitely needs to take care of. I hope you got it, you know, princess, the crown on her head. Can we make that a thing?
Good.
Oh, come on, Tetra, don't let me down here. Don't let me down!
I said it's good. I said I like it. It's good.
Yeah, but it was so close. The roots, you know, they expired when Dahaka came back out of the burrow, and it was just so close. But Stitches, nice body blocking here for sure. It is always nice to see one of those, or, you know, filled huge models blocked away. Body blocks is one of my favorite features in Heroes of the Storm. It's just so cool, if well done.
Completely agreed. It's one of the things that made me fall in love with this game when it was introduced for the first time. Including the Stitches hook traps that you could pull off on the good old on the horseshoe on Cursed Hollow, and of course the good old-fashioned one on the Haunted Mines. But now though, shots being traded, mid being taken by SOA, top mostly taken by Hotslady, so they trade it evenly. Top, I would still argue that is a little bit higher in terms of priority because you get the Bruiser Camp before the second phase, so you're able to get even more pressure. That can, if you are able to time it well, and the enemy Bruiser Camp is cleared quick enough, using the effectiveness of your global like Dahaka, you can try and guarantee yourself a fort a little bit early.
Yeah, fully agree. Oftentimes when you play Hero League, you still see that both teams are just brawling and clashing for the middle temple because it's normally closer to where the action is currently going on. Instead of just one team being like, okay, you know what, we're just gonna give it up. Top lane is more important anyway, because as you said, the Bruiser Camp might have an easier time pushing then. So keep that in mind, guys. Encourage your teammates to not focus on the middle too much, instead focus on top. And I really like this rotation as well from Hotslady. They're trying to brute force their way into this fort keep, which is already this top fort, excuse me, which is already weakened a little bit with that mercenary camp with a triple lane there. But Falstad should still be able to defend it handsomely. And so the counter rotation, look at that.
Tyrael attempting to scout out the objective, finds a noob, is forced to tunnel in anyway. Luckily, he's not followed up on. They're just going to try and punish Stitches for this camp raid, and they will get it by the looks of it. Boss is aggroed. Can he save it? They turn around in the background while Stitches is dying.
Wow.
The rest of Hotslady lose Valor from the sneak attack from behind. Turn around from the rest of SOA. They're going to turn on to Meng here and get that kill as well. And SOA divide and conquer beautifully.
Spark BZ and the Stitches here, the ultimate debater. It was just so well executed. He managed to get away out of harm's way in the nick of time here. Felgi also keeping him alive. Malfurion definitely a lifesaver here. And then he also didn't get greedy. He also didn't get close to the Dahaka. Could have still killed him because he was so low. Instead, he waited for the hook to come off cooldown. Hooked him in. Hooks another one. Follow-up combo immediately done here. And SOA on a roll.
Auriel healing herself, keeping herself alive. She's trying to bait forward, and she does. And that is the counter bait this time, coming in from Pommy. They turn it round onto Uncle G, get the second kill. And Hotslady pulling themselves back in, clear up the Siege Giant camps just in time for this temple in the bot lane.
You either bait or you die trying. And in that case, it was Greymane going in a little bit too deep. Falstad as well, not really being able to kill Auriel, and she's just, man, Polly must be feeling good about that one, because they basically managed to even the odds here. Now, SOA, 2 members down. There is no way they can contest this bottom temple, and you can really see how Hotslady, they're, you know, getting back to lane. Meng is doing a great job soaking at the top lane. Look how Meng, by the way, transitioned over from Li Ning to Dahaka.
Yeah, that is an interesting change. That is flexibility. Pommy. This time it's actually Lias who gets focused down, gets rooted, he drops the block stone and gets hooked in. That might save him actually, give him an opportunity. And it does! He gets pulled out of the main damage dealers and is given a chance to escape. Slight misplay by Sparky. Tyrael comes in to assist the rest of his teammate as they turn onto Ovo here, onto tank Ovo. Pommy still from up doing crazy damage as Tyrael dives deep.
This is a constant back and forth, but Hotslady now with level 10 in a huge lead. Tyrael trying to get that Greymane, but they take the Beetle instead. Hey, that's a good trade too as well. And they're going for the boss right off the bat. And who can blame them? Killing 3 members despite low death timers is still, you know, significant enough. Uh-oh. Karzim, careful.
Scumbag tornado.
Karzim.
Oh no, scumbag tornado! He is run! Go the other way, Jesus! He's finally pulled back away from the tornado. And they are going to be able to get the boss.
Is this actually ruining the boss for them?
They see dash and dash.
Oh, so
all the
fancy.
way from Falstad, giving him a slight opportunity to dash out of danger. What a beautiful play there, as Lias turns it back around, gets the kill. We don't have picture-in-picture. I assume they got the boss.
No, I want to see it right now, because I think Karzim was so low that he was actually forced to retreat, and I'm not sure if they had enough damage to finish it. Let's see.
Pretty sure they have. Either way, beautiful kills coming in. They were able to get the boss. They get the final shots from bot, so this bot fort is doomed. But SOA still able to pick up their own siege giant camps, which will de-push the laser. They only have to worry about the boss
with the tornado.
Minion wave.
These Cyclones, man, it's sometimes really hard to dodge them, but, you know, when you can make it, walking to the left, just walk to the right or use your Radiant Dash in the case of Karzim. So I don't think he had to take this much damage, but it's all good. They got the boss anyway. You know, Cyclones are a tricky thing to pass by sometimes.
Indeed, the boss tornado is absolutely one of the most annoying things in this game. Works very well at does very well at its job. In the meantime, Heroics available for both teams. 7-sided strike for Karazim, not going for the palm. He's just getting that extra damage when he's against a double tank. Makes a lot of sense. Stitches not going for the Gorge Gust. It is the Putrid Bile, but they still have the option for the Cocoon Gust and the Cursed Bullet to try and burn down Tyrael or Dahaka.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna be a very interesting combo you just mentioned. Can they isolate someone with a Cocoon? Can they then use the Gust immediately to separate their target once it pops out? Remains to be seen. Let's take a look at the talents overall a little bit more. We see Regeneration Master on a Nubarak, which is something we don't really see that often. However, I think it's an undervalued talent, especially when the enemy team doesn't really have a lot of Mage Burst damage.
It's becoming a little bit more popular for exactly that reason that you said nowadays, but it is still usually... Oh, hang on. Dahaka, does he have an escape? He pops Adaptation, pops his own essence as well. Sanctification, the Gust is whipped through the Sanctification. Now Dahaka's on the hunt. Decides not to dive deep, though. Tyrael throws out the sword, also decides not to dive as they go back to clearing the way.
Okay, I think that was a little bit of a panic reaction there, the Sanctification. I'm not sure if it was actually necessary, because none of the warriors was really low on HP. Dahaka was leeching up fully with his self-heal from the Essence. But sometimes, you know, it's just better to be safe than sorry, I guess. Sanctification isn't really the longest cooldown heroic ability in the game either, so a minor mistake maybe. Hopefully it's not going to bite the Hotsladys. Now, they're pushing in the top lane though. Falstad, the only one defending against this Merc camp, dealing a little bit of damage. And who's actually got the structural advantage so far? It is still Hotslady, so as long as they maintain control over one temple, they continue to, you know, further expand that lead. Whereas SOA, they need to go for a team fight. They need to stop them from channeling those.
Wanted to try and dive onto Tyrael, who jukes them up above.
He also juked our cameraman.
Very nicely done. Yeah, cameraman was like... Either way, we need to see Ariel get out of dodge. Cocoon is dropped very quickly. Karazim moving back. It is Valor in this Cocoon. There's the Gust to try and isolate. Aegis is available if they need it. Hook is landed. The Aegis wasn't close enough due to Ariel being stunned up. Now drops the crown onto Tyrael by the looks of it. Dropping as much healing as she can. Notes on Karazim as they try to pull back. Meg takes damage. Misses the dragon. Instead lands it on a beetle and is focused down.
And now you might have actually argued, hold on. Didn't we just see a Sanctification go down in vain to save Dahaka, who wasn't really going to die anyway? Well, maybe that could have made a difference. Maybe Tyrael could have saved that Vala who was trapped in the Cocoon by dropping a Sanctification. So really interesting to see how the lack of one heroic ability can make all the difference. But also Oriel didn't use the Crystal Aegis. It has a fairly large casting range, and I don't think she was out of position. So the double Angel comp so far fails at protecting her most valued composition member.
Yeah, it was a nice dive by Anubrak to stun up Ariel, prevent her getting in range for that Aegis. Was very nicely played indeed. And Pommy, just getting back up to Valor, is just like, don't worry, I'm not going to let that happen again. We'll see if that's the case though. Carlo looking for Jukes, dodges the root, doesn't dodge the hook though. Focus down and is dropped.
Catcher When did SOA learn how to execute those combos so beautifully?
4 days ago. That is my prediction. That like a couple days before the tournament actually started, it's just like, oh yeah, this is how you play. We're gonna see Hotslady though taking this Seashine camp in the bot lane. There is no fort here, so this will put a fair amount of pressure on. In exchange though, Hotslady in one temple phase just lost all 3 of their forts.
Yeah, and you can see that being reflected in the overall XP count as well. SOA for the first time in this game took the lead. It's a small one, it's a marginal one, but still, it is a lead, and that is so important. And as you said, they now destroyed all 3 forts, which leaves the keeps vulnerable. The future temple phases will be a lot more heated, because as soon as keeps fall, things start to get really serious.
Yeah, however, it is both teams that have no forts remaining down to the keeps, so we are very much approaching the latter stages of this game here. We will see which team is able to take the advantage as we move on. Execution are now available for Greymane with the consistent slamming from Stitches. Going to be able to get some crazy value. Even the slowing Hammerang coming in from Falstad to assist with that. Falstad, by the way, of course, with the Giant Killer to assist in trying to burn down those tanks with this full auto attack build outside of the secret weapon because they're really using it. Actually, no, went for Static Shield as well instead of Hammer Gaze. Yeah. This boss attempt would be risky. Nice one, Mouth.
Malfurion, I was going to say, that's the wrong...
Holy Ground just became available.
Oh, that is so smart, too.
Can he do it? Can he do it?
He's
got to the point. He's a bit early. Sanctification needs to be dropped. Where's the
Oh, he got it!
The Gust! They stole the boss. The Gust was not in time. Tyrael turning it around. They're trying to kill off the Greymane who's trying to retreat here. It's already Falstad getting taken down. Valor killed off in exchange. They're turning it around. Here comes the Greymane from the side. 7-sided trying to drop the damage. Everybody's grouped up for Hotslady. They finally have split up the team of SOA. And it's Malfurion who's going to be the last one to die here, most likely. Leah's taking the time to kill off the drone even as the boss pushes down that bottom lane.
Yeah, good luck trying Malfurion. He's just trying to buy a little bit more time. Can Karzi make it? I don't
what
really...
mounted him?
Did he B-step? I think the B-step dismounted him.
Demounted.
No, there was nothing attacking him. I think I heard a B sound as well. So, a failed B-step or a failed B attempt. Maybe he just fat-fingered over the keyboard to put it in Drat's words and... But that was a misplay. I think Karzim could have caught him anyway with a Radiant Dash. But...
yeah, he was just saving it.
Oh man, that boss throw, it is... I'm facepalming a little bit right now because as you said, the Holy Ground was there. The Hotslady, they were nearby. They have a global as well with the Dahaka. It was not needed for SOA to take this risk.
Yeah, but either way, great play by Tyrael there. Basically one man tanking the entire enemy team for long enough for his own team to arrive in time to make that comeback. He's now, however, getting hooked in. Curse Bullet lands, but Eldred's Might teleporting out.
Okay, so something I wanted to talk about really quickly here as well on the Mouth build. Look at that level 7 talent. It is the Hindering Moonfire, which basically causes a slow to be applied every time Malfurion lands it on an enemy hero. Now, this is a personal favorite of mine. I know the healing reduction on the roots, excuse me, is a little bit more popular, but I think the constant slow by 20 or 25%, I'm not 100% sure, is just nothing to be sneezed at either.
Kara able to dash away. The cocoon is dropped. I like the Hindering Moonfire as well, but I think the healing reduction
up, but they don't go for it.
Bitches here. But yeah, Gush was up. They decided to back up. They want to take the risk. Level 20 though, the longer they wait, level 20 is creeping closer for Hotslady here. Tyrael scanning out. Hook once again landing time on Dahaka. Tunneling claws. See you nerds. Able to retreat out of there.
Exactly. Now, is SOA going to be able to stabilize? That is the one question we're asking ourselves right now. They lost 2 keeps, which is already a big disadvantage because for future temples, when they spawn, they're always going to have to check back and protect their core because 2 catapult lanes could spell disaster for the core. They're actually very deadly and they won't let go until they destroyed their initial targets. Now, Hotslady. I think I remember in phase 1 we had a game by... It was Hotslady, I think, who actually had that spectacular throw on Sky Temple where all they needed to do was wait for the next temple phase, but they looked for a team fight, they lost it, and they lost the game.
Yeah.
Do you remember that game?
I do remember that game.
I think it was RPG against Hotslady.
That was
yeah.
That was an upsetting game for everyone involved. But either way, let's hope they don't do it again. Hopefully they would have learned with new players, new experiences. People do learn. So, level 20 at least, though, is still going to be hit by Hotslady first as they pull back and they wait patiently, except Tyrael, who's really far up. Karazim actually poking down a bit.
Okay, Lias.
But now it is Lias out of position.
Slow down, buddy.
stay alive. Nice use of the holy ground, but now he's in the cocoon. Lias was still thinking about going for Falstad.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Whoa! Gets the kill. Seven-sided to keep himself alive and give himself a chance to escape, and he does. What a play there by Lias. Gets another one. Looks for the third, but Tyrael had already killed it.
Lias with maximum courage and big balls, he's going in like a champ, knows no fear, caught so much attention from the enemy team and still survived because seven-sided strike is a pretty good escape as well. And of course the way of the 100 Fists just smashing and smacking people left and right. And SOA, unfortunately, they fell for the bait, they fell for the trap, they really tried to kill Karazim. You saw the ping on him, but they do not care. Hotslady, that is, they take down the core in spectacular fashion and they're tying out the series, securing themselves at least 1 point against SOA. GG, and well played by both teams.
Well played by both teams indeed. And Kendrick, isn't it nice to have an ice block that also does percentage damage? What a... It's so nice to have that. The entire team moves in, gives Karazim the room to escape after getting that beautiful kill. So in those couple seconds, Karazim zoned Falstad, popped the cocoon, killed Falstad, and got out while dealing damage.
Fantastic.
What a move.
Fantastic. Also dishing out tons of damage with those radiant dashes that after level 16 become so much more deadly. And Tetcher, I'm glad that my prediction and Nova's prediction was met. What do you say now?
Yeah. No, well played. I agree. That was nicely done. I didn't believe in SOA as much as I should, and they proved basically everyone except you and Nova wrong. Beautifully well played.
Yeah, it was a great series, though, overall. I think both teams faced each other on even footing. There was not really a clear favorite. You know, SOA was just a better team in Game 1. Hotslady, they came back in Game 2, looked really, really strong, just like they did yesterday. Overall, it's just so cool to see the rise of talent overall throughout HGC China. Now, something that I wanted to highlight, by the way, because I don't think the viewers saw it on the stream up to this point. When there's a tie between two teams, they actually interview both teams. So they have one player out of each team, rather than just, you know, having one. And then they can basically share their combined insights. I think that's a very nice twist to it.